Well, it's been a huge list turnover for the last 2 years for the Bulldogs, and it's finally starting to pay dividends. What do they need to do if they are to turn this run to the finals into something a little bit more than that? Here are 5 options on how the Bulldogs can bolster their squad. Well, it's been a huge couple of years for the Bulldogs, basically stripping the club right back and starting again. The likes of Curran and Crichton coming in, helping to drive them to the finals in 2024. Will this be a slightly more boring period for them as they feel like they've got most of the pieces locked away? And what can they do to tweak what they currently have to maybe push up into the top 6, top 4, and then eventually challenge? We'll take a look here at the top 5 potential signings from November 1 as the Bulldogs look to maintain their finals run. Option 1, Cam McInnes. Well, 15 spots signed away for the Bulldogs looking into that 2026 period. There's still a few out of contract. Josh Addo-Carr's unlikely to be retained, but McInnes is one option that we've highlighted that could certainly fit right in. Extremely hard worker, very defensively minded player into a Phil Gould type system, I think would work really well for them. Obviously, Cronulla were certainly keen to retain his services. They thought he was an important part of what they were putting together, but I would think that the Bulldogs would love to target a player like that. They really did solidify the defensive side of their game, and he's a player that would really suit their system perfectly. Option 2, Selwyn Cobbo. Well, opportunity or lack of opportunity can create perhaps a desire to move on, and that's the case. He's definitely eyeing the number 1 jersey, and if you look at Reece Walsh's progress at the Broncos, it's really unlikely that he's going to get it in Brisbane. So he also has the versatility to play as a winger or a number of other roles, and he would be an upgrade on current signed stocks for the Bulldogs if they were to bring him across. So it does seem the ideal thing to go and get somebody who's seeking opportunities and probably ready to flourish when they do come. So he would be a player that would bolster their stocks very nicely. Option 3 is Xavier Willison, another Broncos target. Well, Phil Gould has made absolutely no secret of the fact that these middle forwards are a target. He's publicly put that on the record, so that's a clear indication as to strategy. They signed an enormous amount of utilities over the last couple of years, which was mocked up until the moment that it started to work. And obviously that's now a system that has served them well, and now they're going to refine some of the specialist type roles within that group. And he's a player that does seem an option that they could pull out of that Broncos team and help to just specialise a little bit more in some of their attacking stuff. So I think he'd be a useful signing. Well, option 4 is Ryan Matterson. Well, he's often a controversial figure. He's had a stack of clubs. His best is very good. He can be frustrating at times, and it is equal part on field and equal part everything else that comes with it if you are going to recruit a player like that. But his explosiveness, and you only have to go back a couple of years ago to when he was one of the best forwards in the game. So I think it's worth the risk given where they're at in terms of the upside versus the downside. And I think if they can get that right, even for a short period of time, which is often the case, then it might reap the benefits for them. Option 5, Clint Gutherson. Well, Gutherson's been one of the more high-profile departures or likely departures over recent weeks. And if you do assess the Bulldogs list in terms of wingers, they've already bolstered some of those stocks and players to cover Josh Addo-Carr's departure. So it does feel like the Gutherson type role is more within the realms of what they're trying to do. And I think that's part of what we were talking about with their versatility and the utilities that they've recruited, that they can now specialise in on a few positions, and he's become available. They've got a bit of cash to spend, and I think that would be a wise and sensible list management decision. Well, the Bulldogs will be interesting. They cast the net pretty wide in the last couple of years. I think we can expect them to now narrow that focus into some specific targets as they look to build really consistent base for their not long-suffering fans, but their recent-suffering fans who would have enjoyed breaking that mini finals drought. So jump into the comments and let us know if we're missing anybody, if you feel there's a type of player that can take them one step further as a side. Remember to like and subscribe and catch all of the NRL news, including all of these videos at zerotackle.com.